Some scary moments there on an Ontario highway, a truck seen billowing smoke. It happened just months after the owner of that truck had the engine replaced for the second time.
Some of the most popular pickups on the road were built with engines designed to fail.
I leave the dealership, travel 5 kilometers down the road, and my engine fails again.
From Ford to Chevy to Toyota, these trucks looked tough, but behind the badge were flaws so costly they've bankrupted owners, triggered massive recalls, and left entire families stranded. Which trucks should you never trust? Why were these disasters kept on sale for years? And how do you avoid driving straight into one of the costliest mistakes of your life? Stay through the end. You'll see the worst offender of them all. Ford F-150. Back in the mid-2000s, few trucks defined the American road more than the Ford F-150. It was the dependable work companion, the family hauler, and the weekend adventure machine all rolled into one. Yet hidden beneath the blue oval badge and the confident stance was an engine that proved to be a costly mistake for thousands of loyal buyers. That engine was the 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton V8, a motor that has gone down in pickup history, not because of its strengths, but because of its notorious weaknesses. The 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton was supposed to represent Ford's leap forward into modern efficiency and power. Introduced in the early 2000s and carried into the F-150 from 2004 through 2010, this motor seemed promising on paper. It had variable cam timing to squeeze out more performance, 3 valves per cylinder for better breathing, and enough torque to move America's best-selling truck with authority. Unfortunately, the design created several engineering headaches that haunt owners even today. One of the worst nightmares for F-150 owners was the 2-piece spark plug design that often seized in aluminum heads and snapped during removal, requiring special tools and hours of labor. What should have been simple maintenance turned into repair bills in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Cam phasers added to the misery, producing a loud rattle like marbles in a can, leading to timing chain issues and costly engine damage. Combined with a weak oiling system and worn tensioners, many 5.4-liter 3-valve Tritons needed major repairs well before 100,000 miles. Despite all of these issues, the F-150 itself remained an incredibly popular truck. Its chassis, body, and overall design were sturdy, comfortable, and versatile. For buyers on a budget today, these models often look appealing because they are plentiful on the used market and carry lower price tags compared to newer trucks. However, the low entry price hides the risk of catastrophic engine repairs that can easily exceed the vehicle's value. For anyone considering a used Ford F-150 from the 2004 through 2010 range, the key takeaway is clear. The truck may look like a bargain, but the 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton engine transforms that bargain into a gamble. And speaking of gambles, the next truck on our list proves that even when a company tries to innovate with fuel-saving technology, the results can leave owners paying the price over and over again. Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Among the full-size trucks rolling down American highways, the Chevrolet Silverado has always been a household name. Shoppers trust it for power, towing, and the promise of General Motors dependability. Yet from the model years 2014 through 2021, many Silverado 1500 owners discovered that the celebrated V8 engines, specifically the 5.3-liter and the 6.2-liter, were hiding a fuel-saving trick that often turned into an ownership nightmare. That trick was known as active fuel management and later evolved into dynamic fuel management. On the surface, it sounded like brilliant technology. In reality, it caused lifters to collapse, valves to misfire, and wallets to empty. Active fuel management was General Motors' answer to rising fuel economy standards. The system was designed to deactivate half of the cylinders under light loads, allowing the big V8 engine to sip fuel like a smaller motor. When conditions demanded more power, the system would instantly reactivate all cylinders, delivering the grunt Silverado drivers expected. Dynamic fuel management, introduced later, took the idea further by switching between a wide variety of cylinder patterns to optimize efficiency. In theory, these systems were marvels of engineering. In practice, they became symbols of frustration. Owners of Silverado 1500s equipped with these engines frequently reported collapsed lifters. When a lifter collapsed, it prevented the valve from opening, causing a cylinder to lose power and misfire. The truck would stumble, the check engine light would illuminate, and the engine would sound rough and unrefined. Repairing a collapsed lifter often meant removing cylinder heads, replacing components in sets, and spending thousands of dollars on labor. Some owners even experienced repeat failures after costly repairs, multiplying their frustration. Beyond lifter problems, these engines developed notorious oil consumption, as cylinder deactivation placed uneven stress on piston rings and oil control systems, forcing drivers to add quarts between scheduled changes and risking long-term damage. Dynamic fuel management was supposed to improve reliability, but its complexity often led to erratic behavior, misfires, and breakdowns, leaving Silverado 1500 buyers feeling betrayed. Today, used models appear attractive with handsome styling and affordable pricing, yet the risk of catastrophic fuel management failure remains. Shoppers must investigate service records, check for preventative upgrades, or confirm whether aftermarket solutions have already addressed the issue. The Chevrolet Silverado remains one of the icons of American pickup culture, but during the stretch from 2014 to 2021, the engines with active fuel management and dynamic fuel management left too many owners stranded. Buyers expecting bulletproof reliability instead found themselves trapped in a cycle of lifter replacements, oil top-offs, and mounting bills. So while the Silverado's badge shines proudly, its fuel-saving gamble turned out to be a losing hand for countless drivers. And speaking of losing hands, the next chapter reveals a Ram pickup that lures enthusiasts in with the thunder of a legendary Hemi V8, only to deliver a ticking soundtrack that no owner ever wants to hear. If this countdown is striking a nerve, hit that like button to keep this video moving forward. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever battled one of these issues? I read every single story. Ram 1500. The unmistakable rumble of a Hemi 5.8 has long been music to the ears of truck enthusiasts, but for certain Ram 1500 models, that melody came with an unwelcome backbeat. Hidden beneath the aggressive exhaust note was a mechanical rhythm owners began to call the Hemi tick. For drivers of Ram 1500s produced between the years 2014 and 2016, and then again from 2019 through 2022, the 5.7-liter Hemi engine promised muscle, but sometimes delivered misery. The 5.7-liter Hemi has an impressive legacy, serving as a high-performance heart for Dodge muscle cars and Ram trucks alike. It provided outstanding horsepower and torque for hauling, towing, and everyday cruising. For many, the idea of owning a truck powered by such an iconic engine felt like stepping into a piece of automotive history. Yet the design incorporated multi-displacement system technology, which deactivates certain cylinders during light driving to improve fuel economy. While innovative in theory, in practice it placed stress on lifters and cam lobes, setting the stage for failure. Drivers first noticed the problem as a faint ticking sound from the engine bay. At idle, it was easy to mistake the tick for a harmless quirk, but over time the sound often grew louder. This tick was not merely cosmetic noise, it was the early warning sign of roller lifters failing to rotate properly against the camshaft. When this occurred, the camshaft lobes began to wear unevenly, eventually leading to misfires, power loss, and catastrophic top-end damage. What began as a faint sound could evolve into a repair bill in the thousands of dollars. Some owners dismissed the ticking as a normal Hemi trait, while others tried frequent oil changes, hoping to quiet the noise. Once it began, however, the sound rarely went away without major work, often requiring engine teardown, lifter replacement, a new camshaft, or even rebuilding large sections of the motor. Repair costs ranged from several $1,000s into 5 figures, a crushing blow for drivers who expected long-term dependability. Worse still, repeat failures were reported after costly repairs. Yet the Ram 1500's bold styling and strength kept it desirable, though many dealers warned buyers to check service histories. For potential buyers today, awareness is everything. A clean-looking truck at a tempting price can mask an engine waiting to sing its ticking tune. Inspections should include listening carefully for abnormal noises, checking maintenance history, and even using a bore scope or diagnostic scan to spot signs of lifter or cam wear. Choosing the wrong example could turn a dream truck into a driveway ornament. The Hemi tick stands as a cautionary tale. Even legendary engines can carry fatal flaws. Owning one of these trucks is a gamble between enjoying thunderous performance and facing thunderous repair bills. And just when you think a rough-sounding engine is the worst a pickup can throw at you, our next chapter shows how adding more gears to a transmission can create chaos that rattles drivers long before the warranty expires. Toyota Tundra. For decades, the Toyota Tundra had a reputation that truck buyers respected, even admired. Known for durability, straightforward engineering, and engines that could run seemingly forever, the Tundra carved out its niche as the reliable alternative to domestic heavyweights. But in the years 2022 and 2023, Toyota made a bold move. They retired the beloved V8 engine and replaced it with an all-new twin-turbocharged 3.4-liter V6. On paper, this was progress: more power, improved efficiency, and cutting-edge technology. Yet beneath the surface, owners discovered a flaw so serious it sparked one of the largest and costliest recalls in Toyota's history. The trouble stemmed from microscopic metal debris left behind during the manufacturing process. This debris circulated through vital oil passages, scarring components and leading to catastrophic engine failure. Some engines seized without warning only a few thousand miles after leaving the dealership. For owners who had trusted Toyota's reputation, this failure was shocking. The Tundra was supposed to be the bulletproof truck in a market full of fragile experiments. Instead, the very first model years of the redesigned Tundra turned into a cautionary tale. The scale of the problem was immense. Around 100,000 engines required full replacement. Imagine the logistical challenge: thousands of trucks sidelined while dealerships waited for new engines to arrive. Some owners were left without their vehicles for weeks or months. Toyota pledged to replace the defective engines at no cost, but the damage to customer trust was already done. The Tundra's reputation, built over decades, was shaken overnight. To make matters worse, this disaster struck just as Toyota was trying to persuade loyalists to accept the switch from the tried-and-true V8 to a smaller, more complicated twin-turbocharged V6. Many longtime fans felt betrayed. They had sacrificed the traditional V8 growl and simplicity in exchange for promises of better performance and efficiency, only to face engine seizures, tow trucks, and long waits at service centers. Even for buyers looking on the used market, the risks remain real. A 2022 or 2023 Tundra may look appealing with modern styling, high-tech interiors, and strong resale values. But if the recall has not been addressed, or if an engine replacement was done hastily, the truck could still represent a major gamble. A full inspection and a detailed service history are non-negotiable before signing any paperwork. The Toyota Tundra's early twin-turbo era shows how even brands known for legendary quality can stumble when introducing untested designs. It is a reminder that first-year or second-year engines often serve as experiments carried out on paying customers. For some unlucky drivers, that experiment ended in complete engine loss, rental cars, and a deep sense of disappointment. Toyota is working hard to repair both the trucks and its reputation. But for many buyers, the lesson is already clear. Sometimes innovation does not equal improvement. Sometimes the safer bet is the older, proven design, rather than the shiny new promise. And while Toyota's stumble shocked the industry, the next entry proves that General Motors managed to create an engine shortage so severe that dealerships themselves were left scrambling without replacements. GMC Sierra 1500. There are times when a truck's downfall is not its engine roaring under the hood, but the gearbox silently controlling the flow of power. That was the story for the GMC Sierra 1500 produced between the years 2015 and 2018. These models came equipped with the 8-speed automatic transmissions, officially known as the 8L90 and 8L45, and instead of enhancing the truck's reputation, they created one of the most frustrating experiences Sierra owners ever faced. The problem became so infamous that drivers began referring to it with one word: shudder. When General Motors unveiled the 8-speed transmission, the promise sounded impressive. It was supposed to deliver crisper acceleration, better fuel efficiency, and smoother highway cruising. The idea was simple. More gears would keep the engine in its sweet spot more often, saving fuel while still giving drivers the pulling power they expected from a half-ton truck. But almost immediately after release, complaints began rolling in. Owners noticed their trucks vibrating under steady throttle, as if driving across a rough road even when the pavement was glass smooth. This vibration was traced back to torque converter problems deep within the transmission, and no matter how many times dealers performed fluid flushes or software updates, the issue often returned. The so-called shudder made daily driving unpredictable. Imagine heading down the highway at 60 miles per hour with a trailer behind you and suddenly feeling the entire truck quiver, as though something inside was slipping out of alignment. That constant uncertainty drained driver confidence. Many customers who had chosen the GMC Sierra for its professional-grade promise were left disappointed, wondering if their investment would hold together for the long haul. Repair solutions varied and were often inconsistent. Some drivers reported that a complete fluid flush with updated transmission fluid temporarily cured the problem. Others replaced torque converters, only to have the shutter resurface months later. A number of unlucky owners faced complete transmission replacements, costing many thousands of dollars. Lawsuits and technical service bulletins multiplied as General Motors tried to control the damage. But for many, the Sierra's 8-speed transmission was permanently tainted in reputation. What made the situation especially painful was that the rest of the Sierra platform during these years was genuinely impressive. These trucks offered comfortable interiors, strong towing numbers, and styling that stood proudly alongside competitors. Many owners loved the way their trucks looked and handled, until the moment they had to confront the unpredictable behavior of the transmission. The frustration lay not in the design of the truck as a whole, but in one critical component that undermined the entire ownership experience. For used truck shoppers today, these model years demand careful evaluation. A Sierra from 2015 through 2018 might look appealing on the lot with modern features and a tempting price, but lurking beneath could be a transmission that shakes its way into your savings account. Prospective buyers are urged to test drive these trucks thoroughly, listen for vibrations at highway speeds, and review maintenance records for repeated transmission service. The 8-speed debacle proved that adding more gears does not always equal progress. Instead, it taught a hard lesson. Reliability and simplicity often win over complexity and experimentation. And if you think a shaky transmission can ruin a truck's reputation, wait until you see how even a smaller mid-size pickup carried those very same gearbox problems into a supposedly more affordable package, multiplying frustration for buyers who thought they were playing it safe. You have followed the countdown to this point, and the final disasters were eye-opening. Make sure you subscribe right now so you never miss another list. Join thousands already protecting themselves with knowledge before buying. Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon. Sometimes the biggest disappointments come in smaller packages. Buyers who turn to the Chevrolet Colorado or its sibling, the GMC Canyon, during the years 2016 through 2019 often did so because they wanted a truck that was easier to maneuver, more fuel efficient, and more affordable than a full-size pickup. These mid-size trucks promised versatility without the bulk, making them attractive to city dwellers, weekend adventurers, and budget-conscious buyers. But hidden behind that appealing exterior was a transmission problem so widespread that it tarnished both models' reputations. The 8-speed automatic, officially known as the 8L90 and 8L45, plagued countless owners with vibration, hesitation, and the dreaded shudder. The 8-speed automatic was meant to be a technological leap forward. By packing in additional gears, General Motors engineers believed they could keep the engine operating in its most efficient range while also improving acceleration and towing ability. For buyers, it sounded like the best of both worlds. Yet once these trucks hit the road, many owners quickly discovered that the transmission felt anything but refined. Reports of hard shifts, delayed engagement, and unpredictable surges piled up. The most infamous complaint, however, was the torque converter shudder. Drivers described it as a constant vibration during steady cruising, as though the truck was driving over a rumble strip even on freshly paved roads. Imagine setting out on a long highway trip expecting smooth comfort, only to feel your truck judder and tremble mile after mile. Not only did this make driving unpleasant, it raised real concerns about long-term durability. Owners worried that the shudder was slowly destroying their transmissions from the inside out. Dealerships attempted fixes ranging from software updates to repeated transmission fluid flushes. While these solutions occasionally provided temporary relief, the problem often returned. For some drivers, complete torque converter replacements or even full transmission rebuilds became the only answer at a cost of several $1,000s. The frustration was compounded by the fact that the Colorado and Canyon were otherwise excellent mid-size pickups. They offered strong towing for their class, comfortable cabins, and modern styling that stood out in a crowded market. Many buyers loved their trucks for daily use, camping trips, or hauling smaller trailers, yet the transmission problems overshadowed those strengths, leaving a sour taste even for loyal General Motors fans. Owners who had chosen these mid-size trucks as a safer bet, compared to problematic full-size models, discovered they had inherited the same gearbox headaches in a smaller package. Used truck shoppers face the same risks today. A Chevrolet Colorado or GMC Canyon from the 2016 through 2019 period may look like a great value, offering versatility at a lower cost than a larger pickup. But unless the transmission has already been addressed and comes with documented repair history, the buyer may be stepping into a cycle of shudder, service appointments, and sky-high repair bills. Anyone considering one should take an extended test drive, paying close attention to vibrations during steady cruising speeds, and consult records for any transmission-related service. The 8-speed disaster in these mid-size trucks serves as a reminder that mechanical flaws are not limited by size or class. Whether half-ton or mid-size, a poorly designed gearbox can cripple an otherwise capable machine. And if you think vibrations and shuddering are bad, the very next chapter reveals how a highly touted diesel power plant promised unstoppable torque, but instead delivered some of the most catastrophic failures in modern truck history. Ford Super Duty. Few names in the world of heavy-duty trucks carry as much weight as Ford Super Duty. From construction sites to farms and long-haul towing jobs, these trucks were designed to represent the backbone of American strength. When Ford introduced the 6.7-liter Power-Stroke diesel engine for the 2011 model year, it marked a major turning point. For the first time, Ford had developed a heavy-duty diesel engine entirely in-house, no longer relying on outside suppliers. Marketing campaigns celebrated it as the dawn of a new era, promising higher horsepower, better fuel economy, and unmatched towing capacity. Truck enthusiasts and working professionals alike lined up, believing they were buying the most advanced and dependable diesel Ford had ever built. Unfortunately, the early build engines from 2011 through 2014 came with flaws that turned that promise into a painful lesson. At the center of the problem was the turbocharger system. Ford engineers had created a unique dual-sided turbocharger that looked impressive on paper. It was compact, powerful, and designed to spool up quickly for improved responsiveness. But in real-world use, especially under the demanding load Super Duty trucks were built for, the turbo proved fragile. Failures occurred far too often, leading to sudden power loss and leaving drivers stranded with heavy trailers on the side of highways. Replacement costs climbed into the thousands, and for many owners, the confidence they had placed in their truck evaporated the moment the turbocharger gave out. Another nightmare for owners involved the high-pressure fuel pump. When the pump failed, it did not simply stop working. Instead, it sent metal debris cascading through the entire fuel system, contaminating injectors, fuel rails, and even tanks. The result was catastrophic, requiring an almost complete replacement of the fuel system. Repair bills often soared into five-figure territory, leaving owners stunned that such an expensive failure could happen in trucks only a few years old. For farmers, contractors, and small business owners who relied on these trucks daily, the downtime and repair costs were devastating. Emissions equipment added yet another layer of frustration. The exhaust gas recirculation coolers, designed to meet stricter environmental standards, often clogged and overheated. Owners reported repeated warning lights, limp mode episodes, and reduced power. In trucks bought specifically to haul and tow heavy loads, this created dangerous situations on busy roads and highways. The very features intended to modernize the truck became liabilities that undermined performance and dependability. What makes this chapter of Super Duty history so disheartening is how capable the rest of the truck was. These F-250 and F-350 models had strong frames, high payload capacities, and comfortable interiors that made long hours behind the wheel manageable. They should have been the perfect blend of ruggedness and refinement. Instead, the early 6.7-liter Power Stroke overshadowed all of those positives with breakdowns, recalls, and mounting repair bills. For buyers considering a used Ford Super Duty from these years, caution is critical. A 2011 through 2014 model may look appealing at a discount, but without verified maintenance records and proof of major repairs, it represents a gamble. Some examples had their problematic components replaced under warranty, while others remain ticking time bombs. An attractive sticker price means little if the truck spends more time in the shop than on the road. The legacy of the early 6.7-liter Power Stroke diesel serves as a reminder that first-generation technology, no matter how advanced it appears, can carry hidden risks. Owning one of these Super Duty trucks could mean enjoying legendary torque and towing power, or it could mean facing financial ruin from catastrophic engine and fuel system failures. You have now seen the trucks that can drain wallets, break hearts, and leave drivers stranded. Protect yourself by staying informed. Hit subscribe and join this community. Together, we expose the hidden disasters, so your next truck is truly built to last.